Hello world, welcome to Python training. So I'm going to discuss about Python print statement using fstring. Fstring was introduced from Python 3.6. So it was recently introduced, and before Python 3.6 primarily format function was used. Now to specify a string as a fstring, we just have to put f keyword or f character in front of string literal. So what does it mean? Let me show you in the PyCharm. Let me write down a simple string. So you can see right in the print statement I am giving, this is a string. So this particular string is a normal string. Now in order to make this string as f string, I have to put a character f just before the string starts. So if I'll put the character f, then this whole string will become a f string. So if I'll run this program, it will still print this is a string. So with f string, you can either format the string or you don't format at all. What does it mean? So in this particular print statement, this is the f string. This is just an empty f string where we are not formatting the string at all, but this is a f string. Now what we need to do if we have to format something using f string? So we use placeholders. So placeholders are basically defined using open and closing curly braces. Now let's see what this particular placeholder contains. So this particular placeholder can contain variables, operation, functions and modifiers. Let's take the example of variables first. Let's say if I am defining the variable a equal to Python and I have defined this particular string inside print function as f string, then how can I define the placeholder here? I am defining the placeholder using opening and closing curly braces, and inside placeholder if I'll give a, then it will basically replace the value of a in this particular f string. So when I'll run this program, it will print this is Python. Okay, so this is the example of using variable inside the placeholder. We can also directly give the values. So when I'll run this program, it will print this is 23. So any data type directly we can provide here. So let's say if I'm giving the sets, this is also valid, and when I'll run the program, it will print this is set 1 to 3. So this is the example of using variable or directly using the values inside the placeholder. Second one is using the operations within the placeholder. Let's say inside this particular placeholder, I am giving some operation, let's say 2 plus 3. So what it will do, it will basically calculate the value using this particular operation within this placeholder. So the output will be this is 5. So it is doing the operation which has been mentioned inside the placeholder, which is 2 plus 3. If I'll try to remove this f keyword or f character, and if I'll run this program, what will be the output? So it will not perform any operation and it will consider this particular part as a string itself. The output will be this is 2 plus 3. So in order to do some operation inside the placeholder, you have to mandatorily put the character f. Let me take another example. If I'll give 2 greater than 3, what will be the output? It will do the comparison, and based on the comparison, the output will be Boolean value, that is true or false. So here we are comparing whether 2 is greater than 3. The answer is false, and when I'll run this program, the output will be this is false. Next one is using functions. Functions also we can either use inbuilt function or custom functions. So let's take the example of inbuilt function first. A is a string here. So let me use the inbuilt function of a string. So a dot upper, when I'll do, what I'm doing here, I am using inbuilt function of a string here. So it will calculate whatever is inside a dot upper. So the output will be this is Python and all the characters of Python in the uppercase. Let's run this program. This is Python. So Python is coming in the uppercase here. Now let's take the example of custom function. So I have defined this custom function sum, which accepts two parameters a and b, and it is returning the sum of those numbers. So if I want to use the custom function inside this, I just have to call this custom function sum, and I can provide any value here. Let's say 12, 3 I am providing. So what it will do, it will basically call the function sum with 12 and 3 value, and it will return the sum. So the output should be this is 15. Let's run this program and see. So the output is this is 15. And the fourth thing that we can use inside these placeholders are modifiers. What are modifiers? It is basically used to modify the original value based on the formatting type. So these are some of the formatting types used in Python, which you can see on my screen. So let's take one of the example of the modifiers and let's see how f-string works with the modifiers. So I have defined a variable a equal to 59, and then within the placeholder I am using the modifier. In order to use the modifier, we have to use colon symbol, and after the colon we can provide the type of modifier that we want to use. So 0.2f means it will take a, it will convert it into the float type, and after the decimal it will add 2 zeros after the decimal when it will convert 59 into the float value. So the output will be, the price is 59.00. Let's run this. You can see the output is 59.00. So this is one of the example where you can use the modifier within the placeholder. Let's take another example. Let's say I am taking a large number and I want to use a comma as a thousand separator. In order to use the modifier, I'll use the colon symbol and then I will write down the formatting type, which is comma. So it will basically use this comma as a thousand separator in this particular value. Let me run this program. As you can see in the output, the comma is added as a thousand separator in the value of a. So this is the example of using modifier within the placeholder. So let me recap what we have learned so far. So in order to do some modification or calculation within a string, we use f string. And in order to use the f string, we put f keyword in front of string literal. Using f string, we can either format a string or we can leave as it is. If we put just the f keyword without the placeholder, it will behave as a normal string. But if we want to format a value, we have to add a placeholder. And so within that placeholder, we can either use variables or directly the values of any of the provided data type in Python. Second, we can use operations within those placeholder. Third, we can use functions within that placeholder, and those functions can either be inbuilt or they can be custom functions. And fourth, we can use the modifiers, which can be included using the colon symbol. So this was the quick video on print using f string in Python.